You cannot be serious, Appa. I'm not interested in this arranged marriage that you and Amma have set up for me. Shangok, we have already made the arrangements for your marriage. It's been years since we promised our friends that our children would marry each other one day. Shangok let out a sigh. His parents had been close friends with the family of the girl they had chosen for him. He had met her for a few times when they were younger, but now he had no interest in marrying someone he barely knew. Besides, it's time for you to settle down and start a family. You can't keep leading a playboy lifestyle forever. I'm not a playboy, Amma, he retorted, feeling offended by the accusation. And I already have a girlfriend. I can't just break up with her and marry a stranger. His parents exchanged a look before his father spoke again. Shangok, we understand that you have a girlfriend, but you have to consider our reputation in the business world as well. This marriage will bring great benefits for both of our companies. That's not how marriage works, Appa. I can't just marry someone for the sake of our companies. I have to love that person. Shangok, we just want what's best for you. We promise that we'll find someone who will eventually fall in love with. Just give it a chance. For now, please. Shangok's resolve was starting to waver. He knew his parents loved him and only wanted what was best for him, but the thought of marrying someone he didn't love was alarming. Fine, I'll agree to this marriage, but just for now. If I don't fall in love with her, I can't promise that I will go through with it. His parents smiled in relief and embraced him. Thank you, Changok. We promise you won't regret this decision. But Changok, are you sure about this? Are you willing to go through with a marriage just for the sake of your parents? What if this plan backfires and you end up stuck in a loveless marriage? I know it sounds crazy, but my parents have been pressuring me for a long time now, and this is a perfect opportunity to fulfill their wishes while also getting rid of any future expectations they might have. I understand your dilemma, but what about me? What about our relationship? I promise you, it won't change anything between us. I'll make sure to get out of this as soon as possible and we can finally be together without any barriers. But what if this woman refuses to let you go? What if she becomes possessive and doesn't want to divorce you? Trust me, I know how to handle her. I'll let her know that I'm not the right man for her no matter how I'm portrayed. You stood there in your beautiful white dress holding hands with the man you thought you were about to spend the rest of your life with. But as the priest spoke words of love and commitment, you couldn't help but notice the disinterest in Jungkook's eyes. As the ceremony went on, you couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. And when the priest finally announced you as husband and wife, Jungkook's reaction was not what you expected. Instead of kissing you passionately like you had seen in countless movies and TV shows, he simply took your hand and gave it a quick, almost robotic peck. Is everything fine? But he remained silent, avoiding your gaze. You couldn't take it anymore and asked him once more, pushing for an answer. And that's when he finally spoke. I'll say, but not just the answer to your question. I have more to say. Your heart sank as his words sliced through you like a knife. This was not the man you fell in love with. This was not the man you were willing to spend the rest of your life with. After all these years of secretly admiring Jungkook from afar, he was now your husband. But something didn't feel right. As she stood there staring into his eyes, you couldn't help but notice the lack of emotion in them. Just don't ask me anything now, please. You nodded as a tear stole down your cheeks, and you realized in that very moment that this marriage is not going to be the fairy tale you always dreamed of. His reaction says it all. You were sitting on the edge of your bed anxiously waiting for Jungkook to return from his phone call. It had been more than half an hour and you were beginning to worry. When he finally entered, you could see the hesitation in his eyes as he struggled to find the right words. It's okay. Say what's on your mind. I'm ready to hear. You reassured him, making him nod. I want to be honest with you, Ryan. I don't want to give you false hope. I'm so sorry, but I can't keep pretending. I have a girlfriend, and I can't make this marriage work. The words felt like a dagger to your heart. You felt like you were suffocated. All those years of loving him, of watching him grow up, of dreaming of a future together, it all came crashing down in an instant. You thought back to your childhood, how you'd barely know him, but had still felt a connection. You remember the way he made you laugh, the way his eyes sparkled when he smiled. You had cherished every moment you shared, no matter how small, and now it seemed like it was all for nothing. You felt like your whole world had been turned upside down, and you didn't know how to pick up the pieces. The pain was suffocating, and you couldn't help but wonder if you had ever really known him at all. What did you say? I'm so sorry. I was wrong to agree to this marriage. I have a girlfriend and I can't abandon her for you. I know I did wrong. I was trapped in a web of family expectations and my own desires. I was torn between pleasing my family and following my heart. His words hung in the air like a dark cloud. You bit back your tears and found your voice. You should have told me about this in the first place, before we get married. You should have been honest with me instead of leading me on. This marriage was always about business, not love. I thought you understand that. You're a smart woman. You got feeling like you had been slapped hard. You had been fooling yourself thinking that he might come to love you too. But now the harsh reality hit you like a ton of bricks. You tried to speak, but the words got stuck in your throat. You couldn't admit the truth that you had fallen deeply in love with him. The words would not come. All you could manage was a faint whisper. I I thought. Your voice trailed off as tears began to fall, your heart shattering into a million pieces. He looked at you with his eyes flickered with a hint of guilt. You thought what? He pressed and his voice was firm, but his tone softening ever so slightly. You swallowed hard, but no words came out. You just shook your head, feeling tears stream down your face, and your heart heavy with sorrow and regret. Then why are you crying? You shook your head again, unable to speak, unable to explain the pain and sadness that was overwhelming you, which made him take a step closer. Tell me, are you just torn away, unable to bear the thought of him seeing the depth of your pain, the extent of your love for him? Did you see this marriage as more than just a business arrangement? I mean, did you start to feel something more for? No, no, it's not like that. You cut him off, not wanting to hear the rest of the question, not wanting to admit the truth. I just thought about my parents and how much they wanted this marriage to happen. You tried to push back the tears, but they kept falling, revealing the truth that you couldn't speak. It doesn't matter. When they realize you are not interested, they'll support you getting a divorce. He looked at you with a sympathetic gaze. They want your happiness, and if that means ending this marriage, then they'll accept it. He paused for a moment and then continued. I'm sorry it had to end like this, but I think it's for the best. Saying this, he walked out of the room, leaving you alone with your thoughts. Your mind was a hell of emotions, feelings, sadness, anger, and betrayal swirling together in a toxic mix. You thought how your heart was filled with love only for him, and how he had crushed it without a second thought. You thought about the future and how it now seemed uncertain and daunting. And you thought about him and how he had walked out of the room, out of your life, without even looking back. The next morning, you walked into the kitchen, still reeling from the emotional storm of the previous day. The sunlight streaming through the window seemed too bright, too cheerful, totally different from the sadness that lingered in your heart. You saw him standing at the counter, cooking breakfast with an ease and calmness that felt jarring. He turned to you and a smile spread across his face. Are you okay now? You stood there frozen as the question hung in the air. How could he ask that so casually after everything that had happened? You felt a lump form in your throat and your eyes prickled with tears. I'm okay. You said, simply not wanting to reveal the commotion inside. You didn't want him to know that a part of you still loved him, still held on to the hope that things could work out between you two. You didn't want to give him the satisfaction of knowing that his words had hurt you so deeply. So you just said that and turned away, trying to hide. Ryan, he called you gently from behind, making your heart pounding with a mix of emotions, and you turn around. I'm cooking breakfast for both of us. Even though we are, separating soon, we can still enjoy each other's company till then, right? His words felt like a bittersweet gesture, an acknowledgement of the end of your relationship, but also a desire to cherish the time you had left together. You felt a lump form in your throat as you nodded, trying to hold back tears. Yeah, that would be nice. You turn around again as the smell of breakfast and the sound of his voice suddenly felt suffocating. You couldn't believe what was happening. Just yesterday, you had exchanged vows and promised to love and cherish each other. And now, the betrayal and hurt felt like a heavy weight crushing your heart. You couldn't bear to stay in the same room with him, couldn't bear to look at him, so you walked out for some fresh air. Days passed like that in a blur of emotional pain and numbness. You went through the emotions trying to process the shock and heartache, but it felt like a never ending nightmare. Every glance at him, every word he spoke, every reminder of the vows you had made just days before felt like a fresh stab to the heart. The silence between you grew thicker, a heavy fog that shocked the life out of your relationship, and yet you couldn't bring yourself to leave, to let go of the shattered remains of your dreams. You are sitting on the couch, lost in thoughts, but his footsteps coming down the stairs caught your attention. You faintly smiled, trying to be polite, but couldn't bear to look at him for long. You turned away, hoping to hide the hurt inside. He came and stood next to you and cleared his throat, making you look up again. He shifted uncomfortably, his eyes darting around the room before finally settling on yours. I know we are both suffocating in this situation. I think it's best if we at least try to find our own ways, move forward in our own directions. His words felt like a cold breeze on a winter morning, chilling you to the bone. You didn't respond because you didn't trust yourself to speak. He took a deep breath and reached his hand in his pocket. I want to make it easier for you. He pulled out a blank check and extended it towards you like a peace offering. What's this? You are staring at the check he forwarded. Just consider it as a compensation for your sacrifice and understanding. Don't ever feel like you have wasted your time and life for. Stop it. You stood up in anger and gestured for him to stop with your hands. You can't compensate for what I have sacrificed. You don't even know what I have sacrificed. You look straight into his eyes and he can sense that intensity. You don't know what it's like to give up your dreams, your hopes, your entire life for someone. You don't know what it's like to be left without nothing but shattered promises and a broken heart. Your check can't buy the love you have destroyed, Jungle. Jungkook looked at you like it was the first time he was seeing you, like he was trying to understand a puzzle he had never quite grasped. It can't erase the tears I have shed for you. You can't put a price on what I have lost. It's priceless, and you can't afford it. One, please understand. I was just no Jungkook. I can't stand it anymore. You tried to put a price on my love today, but that's something I can't forgive. Remember when you asked me if I had feelings for you? I told you no, but that was a lie, Jungkook. I have been lying to myself for so long trying to make those lies. But the truth is, Jungkook, my dreams are still woven with yours. I have kept the memories of our childhood, the ones you threw away locked in my heart. I'm not a commodity, Jungkook, to buy me with cash. I'm Ryan, the one who loved you with all my heart. You may have forgotten me, but I still remember everything. And today you try to praise that love, that heartache. But it's priceless, Jungkook. It's priceless. Stop it, Ryan. I didn't know anything. I'm sorry. I know you didn't know. I wasn't. I just. I couldn't keep it inside anymore. You took a deep breath, hoping that would calm you down a bit. You're right. You didn't know. And I'm not blaming you for anything. It's just. It's been so hard for me, Jungkook. Seeing you move on with your life, forgetting about me, about us. It hurts so much. But I know it's not your fault. You didn't mean to hurt me. I'm not mad at you, Jungkook. I'm just sad. Juan, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I was so blind, so caught up in my own world. I didn't mean to hurt you, I swear. I didn't know you felt this way. He kept his head hung low as his eyes started filling with tears. I'm in a relationship now, Ryan. I care about my girlfriend deeply. But hearing you say these things, it makes me feel like I have hurt you so much. I don't expect forgiveness, Ryan, but I want you to know that I regret what I did. I regret throwing away our friendship, our memories. You deserve so much better than what I gave you. I don't want anything in this life anymore. But one thing is that I'm ending everything here. I can't keep holding on to this, to the memories, to the pain. It's time for me to leave and move on. Isn't that what you really wanted, Shambho? For me to just disappear from your life? Well, I'm making it really easy for you. You should thank me for that. And one more thing. I'm not going to curse you or your girlfriend. I can't. I'm not capable of hate, no matter how much you hurt me. But also, don't ever try to call me, visit me. Just leave me alone. He opened his mouth to say something, but you raised your hand, stopping him. Don't. Jungkook, just don't. You have said enough. You have done enough. Just leave me alone like I asked. That's the least you can do after everything. Goodbye. Forever. As I walked away, I felt a sense of closure, but also a deep sadness. This is the end of a chapter in my life, a chapter that was filled with so much pain and heartache. I'm glad I got to say what I needed to say. I'm glad I got to closure, but I'm also sad that it had to end like this. I'm sad that we couldn't have had a different ending. But that's not the case. And now I need to move on. I need to focus on myself, on my own healing. I need to learn to love myself again. And maybe, just maybe, I'll find someone who truly cares about me, truly loves me. Goodbye, Jungkook. Goodbye, past. Hello, future. Hello, new beginnings.